Gratitude, peace and love, you know what I'm saying? West side, west side, west side, and one more again, gratitude, west side, you know what I'm talking about? So yeah, man, just want to say gratitude one more time because I just be feeling so good, and I just want to share the feels, you know what I mean, with anybody who might be coming across this for real, man. But what's the deal? Shouts out to my YouTube, because that's what it is, you know what I mean? I definitely want to say shout out to my YouTube and everybody over at Ghetto Physics 777. If you ain't tapped in, like, comment, subscribe, or even got a tune, I don't know what you're doing. You really out of touch right now, you know what I'm saying? So you definitely, need to get in tune with Ghetto Physics 777 if you know what I'm saying, if you know something good for you, you know what I mean? So just want to say thank you to all my 50 subscribers, because now I'm able to go live now, and I will be going live and putting out, different live streams and things that I've been wanting to do. And I'm just more happy that, I'm more happy that I could do it, because I remember when I was like, man, fuck, I ain't upload no videos until I can go live, nigga. I had a bunch of shit going on, and rightfully so. But I'm glad that I've been consistent, putting in the work, and at the same time, I would say for those that's coming through and that's passing through, subscribing, y'all letting me know everything is everything. So I just want to say much love to all my subscribers, much love to my supporters, much love to my people, wherever you might be, west side, east side, south side, north side, it's all love, and today is a great day, man. Today is Thursday, as we know. We in this February month. We in the month of February. It's a lot of energy that's floating around, that's coming up to the surface, that's arising, that's activating, that's awakening, that's just, let's say being present at the most of it, energy in the presence of energy, and what's manifesting right now is very much of presence. I won't even just say it's present like it's just one thing, or like it's just in a stillness. Nah, but it's a certain presence, right? That's kind of like being ushered in or offered even to us, but it's through the individuals that we creating it. And so I think, for those that's been putting in that great work, when it comes to the light beings here on earth, just opening the way, walking their way, leading their way, and being the way for themselves to, operate and shine their truth and light the way that they are, then I only recognize, the good things to come. Of course, we know all the bad shit and all the destruction and all the chaos and all the melancholy and all the lower world shit. All that shit, is being done away with, because it wasn't going to evolve no way. So that shit gotta take itself out, just based on consumption and destruction and lack of production and all of that. So just really with a sense of grace, with a sense of grace and high honor, man, I'm just opening this live, or opening this video, with love and gratitude, man, because I got a message, that I want to share with my good people, my collective out there. I think this message will resonate, with whoever it resonate with. But this message, is for my spiritual gangsters, my spiritual warriors, This message is for, those that operate in truth, those that vibe, at truth and in the frequency of truth, those that operate, in justice and with the energy of justice, and overall, those who, how can I say, I don't want to say bold, but those who love themselves, If you love yourself, you love your family, you love your ancestors, you love who you are as a soul, as a spirit, then that it's not just you, It's so much more of you, when it comes to your connections in between the earth, the stars, the sun, moon, and every other planet, right? That you cannot disregard life, So let alone you can't disregard your life, There will be no disregard for one's life. So that's just something that I wanted to say, because, oftentimes spiritual warriors and warrior spirits, go through a lot and put themselves through a lot, even on a sense of ignorance, as far as like taking on wars or taking on situations or problems and circumstances that may not be needed, you know what I mean, or that may not be necessary as for the warrior, you know what I mean? So when I'm speaking right now, I'm speaking from a place of having fought and overcome many wars in my own sovereignty, in my own space, in my own, universe, to where I've learned through the war. I've learned and I've come to understand, more of my peace, within the war that I have fought for me to, let's say, uphold my light and stand upright, so not to be fallen or not to just be so consumed in the chaos of war that I'm not able to live or that I'm not able to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's one thing in between eternal life and then eternal death. You know what I mean? What you choose, you know what I mean? That's from a vibration, and I want to say a radiation of consciousness from the heart at what you pump inside of you. You know what I mean? So this is for my spiritual warriors, and this message is really, really heartfelt. This message is really heartfelt coming from Ogun. You know what I mean? And this is Ogun La Flambeau, and this of the Petro tribe, you know what I mean? So shout out to all my New Orleans folks out there in New Orleans, my peoples out there in Haiti, man. Shout out my peoples. But this is a message from Ogun and understanding, the energy of Ogun, as I would say Ogun has transcended through many different ways of being, shall I just say. And that was something that, that was brought to my attention in a dialogue that I was having, me and my boy, man. Me and my boy was having a conversation. Shout out to my guy, Nappy No Name, good guy, man. But me and my boy was having a conversation just as far as like, the justice system, street niggas, and all the shit that niggas got, going on in the livelihood of today. And somehow I don't want to remember, but somehow we got on the topic of Ogun, you know what I mean? Just understanding the energy of justice, the energy of war, conflict, and all the shit that, Ogun specializes in, should I say, right? And he has many other specialties. He's not just, a war deity, you know what I'm saying? He has much more capabilities to his energy and what he carries. So definitely know that. And this is where I encourage people to study and look into Ogun, look into yourself as Ogun when it comes to looking into your heart as to what you I don't want to say what you consume, but what you fill up within the heart, what you breathe in, you know what I mean? Shout out to my pops, because he told me some real shit. He always told me some real shit. Garbage in, garbage out. So, you don't want to be filling up your heart with a bunch of garbage, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to fill your heart up with garbage. You definitely want to be balanced and have balance, to receive, understanding of knowledge and wisdom. And that's how it is. So here we go. I'm going to start the message is where I'm at with it. All right. So as I start this video, I want to start the message with a slight chant and invocation that I wrote, you know what I mean, for Ogun, as Ogun. In the heart of Ogun, with the warrior spirit, they got to feel it. And that's 3 times. In the heart of Ogun, with the warrior spirit, they got to feel it. In the heart of Ogun, with the warrior spirit, they got to feel it. And it was today, as I channel and open the way of heart with truth and justice. I offer gratitude among myself and to those who my message may reach or resonate with. Ogun, a Haitian revolutionary warrior spirit and god of metal, iron, craftsmanship, war, justice, and overall the African people of Yoruba, now Nigeria and Haiti, Ogun is revered in many ways today throughout many different cultural aspects, as he may serve as a deity of many tribes. Moreover, in the Haitian voodoo, where there is different Ogun spirits to carry out whatever the purpose of the Magi, priest, or tribe. So whatever the collective might be, into regarding the intentions or the purpose or whatever, you know what I mean? It was always forces and spirits and ancestors and energies that we connected with and that even we created for us to operate more, on the spiritual plane, the cosmic planes, and in these higher realms, and even to I would say manipulate the 3D, the physical, according to our liking. So when it came to a certain level of defense, even intuition, all the shit, you know what I mean? It became all inclusive, especially when it comes to war, man. You know what I mean? It's all psychological, it's all spiritual before it manifests physically. And that's something that I found, you know, significant when it comes to just the energy of Ogun, working with Ogun, and just ultimately studying Ogun. Is so much more to the war when you can understand, like, you know, the ancestors and the spirits and what they were going through in the times that they were living in. And this where I'm at with, I said Ogun is responsible for the freedom of Haiti, and that it was the calling of his spirit from the Haitian ancestors who he came in justice of during the 1700s and 1800s. As the war played out between the Haitian and the French and the British, overall, Haiti and the people of Haiti, they were being liberated, and at the same time, they were holding on to their own. They was not being overthrown by some foreign or a colony or government that wanted to, you know, take charge of what the fuck they felt was theirs. You know what I mean? So when it come to us as a people, as far as the warrior spirit and the nature of the warrior, as far as how can I say, our genuine like energy, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's pure. I don't want to say like okay, we not no fucked up type of people to where we, like, you know, trying to walk over everybody and do all this, that, the third. Nah, I'm not saying you don't have that in all cultures or in all people, no. But overall, out of time, collectively, we all stood for a particular energy. We all operated in a particular energy, I would say, within oneness or in agreement with whatever purpose that we was meaning to serve. So if it was war, then the warriors and all those who were, you know, meant for the war, even the doctors and everybody, they was all included, and they was all on board with the agenda or what the whole purpose of the war was, just so that niggas could come out on top. You know what I mean? Niggas ain't unorganized. You know what I mean? Niggas ain't fucked up. And niggas ain't even overthrown psychologically, where mentally, where the chaos of war and physical altercation would then turn on each other. You know what I mean? So it was always, I would say, a certain amount of wisdoms, you know, that was being passed through the different villages and tribes and families to keep people in order for the right time and the right place. You know what I mean? Like they say, it's a time and place for everything. So I say that everybody had that understanding, and wherever I would say, wherever somebody felt that they had their strong suit, you know what I mean? Like Ogun was, you know, in the fighting and all that. He was a warrior, you know what I'm saying? That's where he became, let's say, one of his own craftsmen, you know what I mean? Learning how to build weapons, learning how to, you know, let's say, I would say transdimensionalize and transcend one's warriorship, if I could say it like that. Because this would it come down to, you know, as far as, you know, us being the supernatural beings and the cosmic beings we always been, it always revert back to us, you know, I would say transdimensionalizing or transcending our way of reality, not even just for a greater one, but even to preserve to preserve and even harvest the things that we know of in a greater sense, you know what I mean? So to be able to do the things, you know what I'm saying, that we do, let's say on the sense of the surface or the physical, you know what I mean? It's always something magical, or it's always something mystical or more to it that can be studied or rather tapped into on our own cognition, that, you know, we need not to go missing to that, you know what I mean? Don't let it go over your head. And so as a warrior spirit, Ogun specifies in many different areas of craftsmanship, from making weapons, creating tools, hardware, and Ogun even enjoys music, dancing, though people rarely speak on that. So a lot of people don't speak on the fact that Ogun, you know, not only, you know, is he a fighter and he's a warrior, but not just Ogun. I'm speaking for the whole ancestors, man. A lot of the combat and the skills and fighting came from dance moves, you know what I mean? So a lot of what, you know, we turned into combat it wasn't combat initially. It was just who he was, and then vice versa. A lot of this shit that we had in combat, it will work for us in a groove setting. You know what I'm saying? In a moment of music and dance, it became something, you know, more harmonious. And I look at that as, you know, different forms of transmutation and alchemy. How we were able to access the ideas and information and knowledge of such, you know, of such things at the time that we were in. And so Ogun also, you know, he clears the pathway for one to reach or be met with themselves, where one ought to be in or at peace with themselves. In the truth one lives. Ogun is an energy that operates the heart chakra and the current of the heart chakra, in which he is the heart chakra. So hold on. And he is not favored by lies, folly, confusion, deception, or what is this? Procrastination on everything. And that energy, man, just from my experience working with Ogun, you know, it depends, and I'm gonna say it depends on how you are as an individual, as an initiate, you know, walking your path, that the ancestors and the spirits will actually commune and connect with you in the way that you are. And so I was going through so much shit, you know, just earlier in my journey, but I was, you know, heavily working with Ogun in times where I don't know what to say. I say in times where I felt that I didn't know, you know, but I knew, but I just didn't know. And I didn't even know how to ask, or I just felt like I didn't, or I wouldn't, I couldn't, you know what I mean? Many a times the ancestors, you know what I mean, would despise and look down on you when you attempting that knowledge, or you attempting at certain mysteries and things like that, and you go into other places and other people and other things to, I would say, resource your information and remind yourself of who you are, even your power. And so sometimes that could even be in procrastination, where you might not do it until somebody else do it, until somebody say, oh, this is cool, like an oracle or tarot or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that type of shit is out, you know what I mean? When the ancestors put a message on you, when the spirit is giving it to you raw, you know what I mean? However you show up, however you manifest, however you intend to do it, that's all your magic, that's all your influence, that's all your inspiration, that's all your divination, because that is what you are, let's say, rather worthy of and deserving of, for all you've been preserved and reserved of and in as knowledge. So understanding the consciousness of Ogun as I've come to grow and learn more of just the energy, I definitely could say when it comes to procrastinating and waiting and shit, he don't fuck with that. He don't like that, you know, because especially when the spirits is knowing that you called for something, or you supposed to be on the move, or you supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, moving forward and not stagnant, and wherever you at, they'll wait. I won't say they'll wait, no, because the spirits ain't gonna wait. They don't gotta wait on you at all. But however, when it comes to the knowledge and the wisdom and the learning, they're waiting on you to realize that you either got it or you're getting it, so one can keep giving it to you as, like, you know, like from student to a teacher, and you're not stuck in one program or one dynamic or one maybe a perception and belief in path, you know, because many times people walk the spiritual path and they get lost in the war, you know. Many times people walk the spiritual path and they get stuck at the healing, you know what I mean? So it's like you really gotta understand the flow and the fluidity of your energy that is meant to grow you and a better you, and even outgrow the old you that you thought you was or had to be. So ideally, you really gotta attune to the truth in the energy that you exist and vibrate in and as, you know. And so that's where Ogun, he will help you with that. But like I said, the nigga don't fuck with liars. You know what I mean? He don't like folly. He's not a fan of confusion, deception, or procrastination. So that means, you know, he bought it. Simple as that, you know. And that's even something of what could be a lesson, as far as some people don't know how to just do what they want to do, or just do it. And I say we all kind of struggle with that, right? And so to be able to understand where you might be procrastinating, or where you might be under the guise of some deception or whatever, to really get into your psyche and understand the different ways of yourself through maybe the ancestors, right, can offer you better wisdom, right? That'll put you on a better path or give you a better understanding to how to navigate and walk the path that you own. And that's just that. So where am I? All right. So Ogun sees through the illusions of the head, though as anyone could still be irritable of what the fuck I write? Damn, nigga. My writing is crazy. Right, okay. So anyone can still be irritable, as in, let's say, you know somebody got potential, or you know somebody could do something, or even yourself, right? But you just ain't did it. So your higher self or the spirits of the ancestors would just be like I said, it'd be kind of not like waiting on you, but they'll look down on you in the sense of like, man, how long is it gonna take for you to get it? You know, especially when you are claiming or you putting out words, you saying shit, doing shit that is rather putting you in the position of the energy itself. But however, if you ain't got it up here to believe or know thyself, right? I don't want to say believe, but we'll get back into that. If you don't put it within yourself consciously to know that you are doing this work and this work is for you to do, as in you are qualified and you are worthy of the wisdom and everything that's to come from this, nigga, you playing with yourself and you playing with the ancestors, and they gonna play with you all day, you know. And that's just what that is, you know. And so my thing is, don't play with yourself, and always, you know, be true, always be pure. And even when you don't know, or you feel like you just don't know, don't try to mask that as something, or don't try to outsource that to something that really is nothing and create chaos. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm just saying this from a place of strength, bro, a place of trust, a place of my truth, where, you know, before I had to reach out to anybody, before I ever reached out to anybody, I had to reach into my own soul and spirit and inquire on my own cognition and what's going on. You know what I mean? So that comes from a place of not just wanting to know, but I'll say a place of love, because you know, but you want to know how you know. And so that is an inquiry that rather is almost impressive, or it's like impressive to the spirit or to the God in you that says, oh, this nigga, he got it, or he's getting it, or he with it. You know what I mean? So it ain't just like they say, it ain't just luck. You know what I mean? And that's real shit. Shout out to Chris Sane. He's out here running it up, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to Chris Sane, because he said some wise ass shit. And he said something regarding luck, as far as luck only happens once. Like you know, when it comes to stocks, money, or even hit a lottery or whatever niggas might do that put them in a fortune. Oftentimes when there's no strategy, when there's no method, when there's no magic or no routine or pathway to it, then, you know, you might find yourself lucky just to get what you want, you know. But oftentimes, you know, let's say, can you repeat it? Can you keep doing it? Can you keep getting what you want? And or do you have to wait to be lucky again? Or do you have to wait for the luck to be in your favor? You know what I'm talking about? So, man, shout out to Chris Saint for that. Because, you know, that's a gem right there. And that shit go over many niggas' heads in many different, you know, realms of thought and school idea. But that's a true statement. So, Here I am. Where am I? So Ogun energy lives in many, if not all of us, black men and women, as warriors of the spirit, being brave, courageous, wise, yet fearless. In New Orleans, Haitian voodoo Ogun can be seen as a cop, military personnel, or even your ghetto soldiers of the Egungun. Right. So overall, he is represented in the symbol of protection, guardianship, justice, and truth, in which cops are expected to be in the same energy. Right. So the Haitian Revolution went on for 13 years, and we gonna get into all this shit, man, because all this shit is synchronic, man. All this shit is definitely divine when it comes to the order of the stars and all that shines and aligns. You feel me? And honestly, I mean, I guess even before I did this video, I was seeing different synchronicities. I'm like, damn, you know, it's so much more to the events and the things that are taking place even previously up until now as to why the energy is so amplified, and the energy, is even calling me today in this moment, so much that I recognize within the heightened awareness. And so 1791 to 1804, that's 13 years of war. Now, one of the numbers of Ogun is 4, but it's really 5. I only say 4 because he operates at the heart chakra, and that is the heart chakra, which is the 4, or the anahata as some people call it. But Ogun operates the crossroad, we'll just call it, as you see me right now here at the crossroads vibing, you know what I'm talking about? So essentially, Ogun operating the crossroads, he operates all 4 elements, all directions, you know what I'm saying? He's everywhere, you know what I mean? But in a sense of, he's a commander of all directions to meet him accordingly, let's say in truth or at truth and justice. So, that's just, and then let's say that's how service is being brought forth, whether it be, you need something done, or you want to learn something, or whatever the fuck it is. You know what you going to Ogun for. You know what he about. You know what I'm saying? And so 1804 plus 175 equals 1979. Now, we gonna get into that. Why 1979? What's so special about 1979? What's so special about 2026? You know what I'm saying? What's so special about 2012? What's so special about 2013? What's so special about, nigga? What's so special? What's so special, right? And so today, as it is February 12th, today is the day of a great warrior, a great spirit, you know what I mean? And I could see it, you know what I mean? As far as his energy, I seen it in his energy. His presence said everything as far as how he carried himself, regardless of what they say he did or what he actually did. Good nigga, man. And so I'm speaking to the warriors, for the warriors, from the warriors. You know what I'm talking about? And today is the day that Christopher Dorner passed away. And Christopher Dorner was the man who went out like a motherfucking gangster. You know what I'm saying? He went out like a motherfucking straight gangster, nigga. Straight gangster, nigga. I'm straight, nigga. I'm putting straight on it, nigga. Real talk. But no, he really did his shit. And I'm saying that from a place of love, from a place of truth, freedom, justice, peace, and all that shit here in Greece. You feel me? And you really got to look at this shit, because when it comes to Black history, when it comes to everything regarding, African Americans and all that shit, he's one of many that has been kind of thrown under the rug because of what he had initiated and led in his own independence at 10 toes, my nigga. And so that's something that I want to acknowledge just as, my own soul and spirit, because I recognize that and I resonate with that energy, just being an individual. You know what I mean? I understand the empathy, and I'm going to speak on that too, because what caused a person to go out and kill and let's say avenge justice on families and whatnot because of whatever they've been through? You got to really consider like what's boiling inside of that body and that mind, because ultimately everybody feel like that. When it comes to Black people, we all feel like we want to do something to somebody, even our own. So when it comes to understanding what people call the enemy, or who people call the enemy, right? Definitely, you got to know yourself. I'm going to say it like that. You got to know yourself. Because when you know yourself, you know the principles, you know the morality, you know the virtues, you know the values, you know the things that you stand for, that you also preserve in your own reserve. So therefore, ain't nobody just stepping on your toes, and not at the same time, you just ain't giving everything away, And so this is where, like, nigga, in so many ways, we are people, bro, of an unwritten and unspoken particular language of, nigga, so telepathic, bro. We really are that intuitively and subtly, spiritually, but how we may manifest that even in our subconscious, that could how can I say, sometimes we could be a little off. You know what I mean? We could be fucked up because we don't know how we doing it. We don't know why we doing it. The logic of it is not there, right? And so this is something that I've been tapping into, not necessarily on the logic, but to really understand. No, I can say that. I can say the logic, but understand why would somebody like Christopher Dorner be thrown under the bus, you know what I mean, or thrown under the rug to where niggas don't even know who Christopher Dorner is these days. Like, you ask the children, you ask, you know what I mean, you talk to anybody, they don't even know who he is. Now, this is interesting to me because niggas know Big Meech, niggas know about Tookie Williams, niggas know about Monster Cody, niggas know about everybody when it comes to the underworld and the criminal underworld of, you know, what we are. Nigga, this shit is weird. It's fake as fuck. Nigga, fuck the simulation. Shit weird. Niggas worship this shit, man. You know, this shit ain't niggas worship these niggas. Niggas worship them niggas. Niggas praise these niggas, bro. And they human just as you. You feel me? And I'm not saying that, you know, niggas ain't gotta have love and niggas don't show love. Nah. But what we praise and what we acknowledge and what we even represent is far much greater than a blood, crip, gangster, hoe, pimp, any of that. Although that's a part of it. That exists. But that's called a subculture. You know what I'm saying? That shit is fucking lame. Because how can I say it? Okay. Niggas have been duped to worship and glorify ignorance and praise ignorance from a place of pain and a place of misery and a place of, oh, I don't know. All my life I had to fight. If it ain't one thing, it's another. Black, white, and every other fucking color. I'm just saying, it is so much perpetuity of chaos that we don't even take time to step back and say, hold on, is this our shit? Or how much of this shit do we have or do we don't have? Like, what is it? What is it really? Like, you know, we never really try to get to the root of things. And that's what fuck niggas up, man. And I'll even go as to say, fast forward, beyond all the gangster shit, the underworld shit, because that's mind control is what I'm trying to say. The mind control is that fuck the police coming straight from the underground. Cause I'm black and I'm brown. You know what the fuck the nigga said. And so all of that shit is mind control, bro. They sold the narratives that not only are we hated, but we gotta be hated and we gotta hate each other and we gotta be dumb or we ignorant and circumstantially, you know, because all of this shit is circumstance. So they've been selling bullshit, and even us, niggas have been participating in their own fucking demise, bruh. And I don't respect that, bro. I don't think that's gangster, bro. I don't think that ain't nothing to me, bro. That's weak, nigga. Cause nigga, you might as well kill yourself, you know? Cause you ain't even giving yourself a chance or opportunity to actually live and be whoever you are called to be, wherever you feel that you already are. So don't let the limitations in the false matrix, shout out to Miss Blue, don't let the false matrix cast an illusion over you to where you can't see yourself or you can't be yourself authentically, you know what I mean, ideally, however you want to put the Lee on it, nigga, you know what I mean. And I find that Christopher Dorner being, you know, as kind of like being as like kosher as he was, right? He did everything according to the system in the matrix, quote unquote, right? You know what I mean? He wasn't no street nigga. You know what I mean? He wasn't getting no gangs and shit. You know what I mean? He wasn't doing the fuckery. He was trying to exist and live and be among society and citizenship. I'm not really into that, but you get what I'm saying. And so, as he went and did that, his experience, I found that to be quite profound, because his experience was no different from every other street nigga out here, from every other, you know, young motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? And he didn't, that shit wasn't far-fetched, but even at the time that he was in, it was even more interesting, because it's like, damn, you can understand, fast forward to 2012 or 2013, as to how much of trauma, as to how much energy, as to how much lies, as to how much, chaos that a nigga that kind of took on and kept smiling through. You know what I'm saying about? Because he was always with a smile. One thing about Christopher Dorner, majority of pictures that I see, he always kept a smile. And so I respect that, because that let me know somewhere, in that body, one is alive, one is present. And I'm not saying all smiles are like that, don't get me wrong, but certain energy speaks. That's what I want to say. Energy speaks. So you could tell somebody who's off by the way they smile, and you could tell somebody who got it good by the way they smile. You know what I'm saying? Either way it go, it's still a smile, nigga. And so I just respect it. You know what I mean? I respected that, because he at least carried a good sense of energy. He wanted to leave a good imprint on himself. And so, furthermore, I'm all fucked up with the words right now. But furthermore, that would make sense that him knowing himself, wanting to leave a good imprint, it would make sense why he didn't wrote a manifesto, to why he did what he would do, and he did it, and it went how it went. But at the same time, the system, the society, the police, whatever, they ain't gonna praise this man, and we gonna get into all that. They ain't gonna give this nigga no flowers. They ain't gonna, you know what I mean? This ain't, but you gotta understand why. This ain't for them. He wasn't for them, man. He bodied, nigga. He bout you and me, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the black hand, you know what I'm saying? He was bodied, man. He stood for something. He stood for himself as a black man, as an individual. So beyond the badge, beyond the Navy personnel and all the shit that he might have found himself in, now we got to get into the story of how he carried it out. Because this shit is beyond, I would say, it's beyond like interesting. You know what I'm saying? It's so interesting as to the synchronicities and the things that was taking place at the time, and it even was taking place now, just energetically speaking. So Christopher Dorner, born June 4th, 1979, and he passed on February 12th, 2013. So when he died, he was 33. So we already know that's Christ's energy. You know what I'm saying? And then the name Chris, you know what I'm saying, or Christopher, you know what I mean, has Christ in it. So essentially, nigga, he had Christ in him somewhere, nigga. He was definitely a light being, and he definitely carried the light of himself as Christopher Dorner, in his own unique way, especially being someone of military personnel and being, as far as in law enforcement, he definitely carried a specific amount of light for a specific amount of task or duty. You feel what I'm saying? And that's real shit. So he passed in a 6th year, which was 2013, which was also 33, which was interesting, I found. You know what I mean? So I find no coincidence as to where he was spiritually and mentally with what he was doing. Of course, everybody goes, oh, you nigga do something better. They always do. That ain't the point, nigga. Sometimes, you know what I mean, you just gotta call on Ogun, man. Sometimes you gotta do it, because it ain't even about well, I don't say it ain't about the war, but it can be. Sometimes it's the clearing of the way, and the war could be in the way. So sometimes, one in their own war, one in their own chaos, or one in their own confliction could be in their own way, right? And then one could even be made to feel that way by others, just based on, let's say, circumstance and bullshit. You know what I mean? Shit that nigga dogma. So, if the job say you ain't doing this or doing that, you know what I mean? It's easy for certain, it's easy to be tricked. Should I just say that? It's easy to be tricked. You know what I mean? But it's also challenging, you know what I mean, to stand in your truth and be true as to the truth that you know in yourself, regardless of whatever, regardless of what other people may say or think or feel about you. You know what I'm saying? So definitely standing in truth and standing in one's own truth is something that, Christopher Dorner was bodied. He wasn't no poo butt. You feel me? So nigga born in New York, Christopher Dorner, born in New York and was raised in California. and he went to Cypress High School, class of 97. Later, going on to college, playing sports and majoring in political science and minor in psychology from 1999 to 2000. He was also a running back. And from the 1st to 7th grade, what did it say? Dorner was the only black man in his classes. As Dorner got older, he chose to become a police officer in the Navy Reserve in 2002. He commanded security units from 2004 to 2006 up until his discharge February 1st, 2013, with the rank of lieutenant. Christopher experienced a great amount of the shadow wars and hidden tactics that were being used against him and others. Oftentimes, Chris took the back seat to his own authority and what he knew was right versus wrong to get along or continue his work where he was underserved in his own right. You know what I mean? And so, essentially, he was going through everything that you think or that you could think. I'ma just say it like that. But he was going through everything that niggas go through. You know what I mean? Niggas ain't aspiring to be no police. Niggas ain't aspiring to be no servicemen in the service. And shout out my niggas who went to the service. But niggas that's not the initial thought of young niggas out here. You know what I'm saying? So by him, I would say, doing all of these self-righteous things, you know what I mean, still found himself in a very conflicted way of being when it came to how he was being treated and the way that he was to operate amongst others. Like, how I'm really gonna communicate and connect when I'm not being accepted or respected in my own peace of mind and my freedom, you know what I'm saying? And let alone be acknowledged, you know? So that was something that he took into the matters of his own hands, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him for that. I feel as black people, we definitely don't blame him. He did that for the fucking pain and the sorrows, the tears, the blood, the sweat, the crying, the longing of black people, bro. And you gotta understand that when energy, when spirits, when you know what I mean, the macro to the microcosm of energy that I would say manifests in certain people and operates as certain people, man, you know who you are. Don't limit yourself and don't fool yourself, you know, by trying to appease this world or appease people in this world just because you got a human body. You know what I'm saying? Because it's too many times where people are not allowing themselves to live and be free based on society and what the jobs say, what the schools say, what the classes is saying, what the fucking neighbors is saying. I'm just saying, though, too many times individuals, especially niggas, you know what I mean, niggas will let themselves go, you know, to fit a certain narrative or wear a certain uniform or a hat that don't even fit they fucking head. You feel what I'm saying? And so you gotta really, you know, y'all really say fuck this shit, man, because the more you ignore a wound, you know what I'm saying, then it gets worse. You know what I'm saying? If you ignore a wound, shout out to Ogun because he's a healer too. You know what I mean? So Ogun just saying out here fucking shit up, he's a healer too. You know what I mean? But when it comes to the healing, you know, of a wound, you don't want to just leave a wound open to where, you know, you could be attacked or where, you know, it's not preserved. It's not, you know, being, you know, I would say kept upright. You know what I'm saying? So when you have wounds or certain things that just left open for people, places, things to kind of just, you know, ease on by and do whatever and treat you however, you become more hurt or you do more damage to yourself than you do healing or than you do redeeming. And that's where a lot of us have been made to feel circumstantially that like, oh, it ain't no other way. Oh, I gotta crash out. Oh, it gotta be like, you know, basically what I'm saying is niggas is, I don't want to say niggas. The system, you know what I'm saying, but niggas is included. The system has been made to attack the hearts of niggas in which, you know, let's say we all kind of operate and vibrate at a particular frequency of the heart that says I'm a warrior or I'm a healer or I'm a creator or I'm a musician or I'm a man or I'm a woman, whatever. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the empathy and the emotions have been attacked to be desensitized and deprived as something as unreal or as something as false and that's not fucking true. Because like I said, what would drive a nigga from the 90s, you know what I'm saying? What would drive a nigga, motivate a nigga all the way to 2013 to go out with a bang like he did, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's Ogun. I feel like that's the spirit. I feel that that's the Haitian revolutionary energy that flows throughout the DNA and the cosm of us niggas. You know, it ain't just, you know, the Haitian revolution, but nigga, that's one of many, you know what I mean, that stood on you know what I mean? So just within the energy of Ogun and just understanding the manifestation